Check of the runner at second. Pitch by Holtz. Pitch line in the air towards center field, towards left center field. That ball gonna get down. Dylan Dreiling has done it. The comeback is complete. Blake Burke scores from second, and Tennessee walks it off. 4 runs in the bottom of the ninth. This is a team you just can't count out. 4th run batted into the ball game. And Tennessee, with 4 in the bottom of the ninth, rises up to take down Florida State. It's 4 runs for the Big Orange. On 5 hits, 2 men left. The run batted in for Dylan Dreiling is his 67th on the season, and none bigger. Tennessee 12, Florida State 11. The Volunteers say hello win column for the 56th time. This one belongs to the Big Orange, and this is Tennessee baseball.
Since 2003, this is the Sports Source, East Tennessee's #1 sports talk show.
Presented by Pipe Wrench, and by Junk Be Gone, and by the Garza Law Firm.
With your host, John Pennington. The Sports Source starts now.
Pack your bags, Ma. I think we have a new all-time great call in Tennessee radio history. John Wilkerson there from Omaha. We appreciate you joining us today for the Sports Source here in the Junk Be Gone studios on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there, including my own who's watching. We are going to be doing we're going to have some basketball, some football a little later. Obviously, a lot of baseball today. And joining us now from Omaha, kind enough to take a little time out of his pregame day, is John Wilkerson, the man you just heard on that call. John, congratulations on one heck of a win last night.
Boy, that was sure something Friday night. It was remarkable. You want to guard against hyperbole, but that might have been the biggest win in the history of the program.
Absolutely, and I said last night, my days are all running together. I wanted to say...
Same here.
Yeah, I bet. Well, tell me this. I mean, that was a great call. Tremendous call. No broadcaster. You love hearing it, but you have to do the no. But I guarantee you there were people falling out of their chairs loving that as they heard it the other day. Talk to me, I mean, with the stakes, you're already in Omaha. It's, you know how damaging it is to lose that first game. What the stakes, what they were, the unbelievable comeback part of it, where does that rank in terms of your all-time Vol calls?
I think it moves to the top of the list because, as you mentioned, when you look at what was on the line and when you see where they were, I mean, this is just the second time Tennessee's opened with a win in the College World Series. And then if you're looking for a tiebreaker, somebody hitting for the cycle would probably be a pretty nice one, just the second ever in Omaha. So I do think that while, again, you can point to other historic moments, huge instances for Tennessee baseball, I do believe this is the new #1.
Well, and you just mentioned Christian Moore. Tell me a little bit about, I mean, hitting for the cycle just the second time ever, but the year he's had and certainly the way he's played of late.
Well, you actually can go back to the last month of last year because I don't think Tennessee makes it to the NCAA tournament and finishes as strongly as it did in the SEC after their 5-10 start in 2023, if not for Christian Moore really coming to life. I mean, he was the first Vol to be a most outstanding player in a road regional. He did that when Tennessee went to Clemson and won. So I do think you've seen him lift his game going back to last year. And then after a Team USA experience last summer, I think he's just continued to grow. You look at the progress that he's made, and especially dealing with breaking pitches, I think he's just lived up to being exactly what the Vols had hoped he would grow into, and that is a legendary type player that's right in there with Todd Helton and Chris Burke. His numbers speak for themselves. And, oh, by the way, his home run the other night was his 60th. In his Tennessee career. No Vol had hit more than 40 before he arrived. So he just continues to do his own version of the record book as he gets deeper into his third year at Tennessee.
Tremendous. Let's talk about the one, I guess if you're a Florida State fan, it would be the controversial moment. If you're a Tennessee fan, what, they got it right. The check swing on Blake Burke. When they showed the replay, when I first watched it live, I thought, he went around. I saw the replay, and it's like, no, I think he got it. What was your initial thought in the broadcast booth, admittedly through orange-colored glasses? What was your take?
Well, hold your breath, because anytime it comes down to a 50-50 call, it can go either way. You don't normally see a game end. I mean, that's the last out. That's the third strike. And so a lot of times, I don't know if it's something that's a conscious decision by umpires. You just don't see. You do see some, but you don't see many ring-ups in that regard when they appeal to a base. But, yeah, I was holding my breath just like everybody else, because I thought he could easily have been punched out. You go back and you look at the rewind and the replays, sure, you could still see it's a 50-50 call, and thankfully from Tennessee's perspective, it was ball 3.
In terms of celebrating that win on Friday night, and of course they'll be there today, Vol Nation traveling to Omaha. You've been out there many times now under Rod Delmonico, and now it's becoming a habit with Tony Vitello. Have you seen a change in the Vol fans when they go out there? I'm sure the first time it was like, wow, it's this new experience. Now it's kind of old hat. But in terms of how many people are out there for Tennessee, and then is there now developing a little bit of, we know why we're here?
I do think that it's become part of the pattern, because you saw it starting first at the SEC tournament down in Hoover. It would be that as the Vols got deeper into the week, more and more orange and white would show up in the stands. That presence is much earlier now. You also take a look at this trip to Omaha. I think it's the best that it's been from the get-go, because you take a look at, for instance, there's a local establishment that keeps track of how many fan bases have taken this many shots. It's a charitable outreach as well as a great moneymaker for them. Tennessee's leading the competition. So, I mean, the Volunteers have come out in force. There was a ton of orange and white in the stands ready to go from against Florida State. And what was really awesome was after the incredible victory is how many fans just kind of worked their way down to the third base dugout. They just wanted to be closer to the team after such a huge victory. So, yes, the orange and white has been strong from the start, and I imagine more in the stands tonight.
Well, that was a game to remember and a call to remember. Broadcasters all look forward to having something like that. Congratulations on getting that one, John. And thanks again for being with us today. We're going to sit here and talk a little bit about the North Carolina game that's coming up tonight. But good luck to you and the Vols. And once again, thanks for taking time out and joining us. I do appreciate it personally.
Absolutely, John. Always appreciate the chance. Thank you very much.
All right, very good. And we want to tell you before we start the rest of this segment that the rest of this segment is brought to you by the Garza Law Firm. And no one in East Tennessee is more happy with Vols baseball success than Marcos Garza and his team at the Garza Law Firm. Huge supporters of Tony Vitello's program. Just one way they're involved in our community. And when you need legal help, I suggest you call them, because if there's anybody that has a winning track record like Tennessee baseball and Tony Vitello right now, it's the Garza Law Firm. All right, let's introduce the rest of the panel as I take off the ear contraption here because it annoys me. Chuck Cavaleros is right there. Vince Ferrara right here. Will West, Bob Hodge. Thanks to all of you. It's been a complicated morning. I've been shouting and screaming and throwing things, so I appreciate you all remaining calm and doing your business.
But you showed a good arm.
I did. That's pretty good. Tony Vitello would be impressed. Let me ask you guys. Vince, I'll start with you. That victory on Friday, I said last night, that victory on Friday, where's it ranked for you in terms of the ones you've seen Tennessee win? That's with the stakes involved and everything else. It's got to be top 2, top 3, number 1.
Yeah, I'd say at the top. And look, if John thinks it's at the top, I think it's at the top. There's no doubt about it. And here's the thing is you don't often win when you lose that first game.
Right.
And this is about winning a national championship with the number 1 national seed. And Tennessee had only won, I believe, one first game before. Like even last year they got a game, but they had lost before that. Virginia in 2021 lost your opener. It is so difficult. And for this team to kind of break through and get that first game, it was massive. And if you can get the second one, that takes you to another level. We'll talk about that level.
Yeah, we'll preview the North Carolina game coming up. Thoughts on that victory the other night? Thoughts on John's call? I was bragging on it, but that was a great call.
It was unbelievable. It really was. I mean, I know that Tyler Ivan shared it on Twitter.
Right.
And, like, within a couple of hours, it had 80,000 views. Like, I mean, it's just wild. How many people, where is the Wilkerson call? And he did not disappoint with that. I thought it was incredible. On the game, it's unreal when you make that many mistakes to survive it. When you drop a double play ball that ends up leading to multiple runs scored in an inning and you falling behind like that. But that's kind of this team, right? They're just never counting them out ever. And since Tony Vitello's been here, That's a little of what you get. I do think they got a little help from the third base.
The check swing, you thought he went?
So if you look at the NCAA rulebook, and like every other level of baseball in your entire life you've ever seen, does the wrist break? The NCAA rulebook says if the bat goes past the inside hip. And the bat was 2-3 inches past the inside hip. But I don't know if they call it like that. Like everything that's a foul in basketball isn't. That's not what they call it. Travel
strike zones are different up top.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, FSU fans were complaining, but I do think sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and Tennessee was both.
If you flip that and the situation's reversed, Tennessee fans would be screaming that the Florida State guy had struck out. That's just the way it is.
It's like John said, especially to end the game that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it really has to be over the top almost to call it. And it's Section 39.
I bet you would be saying
in the
that
rule.
different if that was Florida State that was at bat.
It's Section 39, and in the rule book, it says the batter is in jeopardy of a strike being called if he initiates a swing. And like you're saying, if the barrel of the bat passes the front hip, then it can be called a strike.
Yeah, they really don't call it that way because guys are so far back in the batter's box that doesn't get you to the past the plate. So they're really calling it on the plate, but you just want it to be consistent.
But John, the game I thought ranked with some of the biggest comebacks in UT sports history, not just baseball. And the call by John Wilkerson, I think it even goes outside UT sports to Mike Keith and the Music City Miracle and how iconic it was and how people were sharing it. And how you get chill bumps even now.
The Mike Keith call I remember was the pack your bags, Ma, we're going to Omaha. The team of destinies headed for the field of dreams.
Just to add to how big it was in UT athletics history, that is so rare in the Men's College World Series. In teams that had ninth inning leads in the last 185 Men's College World Series games, 176-9. That's just the lead going to the ninth, much less a 3-run lead. You just don't see it.
This is a little bit different World Series, though. You've had 3 games that were the first 3 games were all one. Well, all 4 of the games were 1-run games. Right. The first 3 were walk-off runs.
Yeah.
And the last one was a home run saving, home run robbing catch, or that would have been a lead change in the ninth.
Right.
We'll talk about predicting whether Tennessee's going to make the final series. That'll be later in the show. It's going to be hard to predict anybody to make that series when you look at how evenly matched this field appears to be. Bob, your thoughts on all of it?
My thoughts on all of it, one, I thought he swung. I don't watch a ton of baseball, but I thought, ooh.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling too.
It was literally that right down and then right back up. But I think if Tennessee is going to win the whole thing, I kind of think you saw a little bit about how they're going to do it. I don't think their pitching is great. I think their fielding is better than what that game showed. But I think you're going to get up there and you're just going to have to wait out the hits and the hits and the hits. And I guess I went through 3 or 4 different, it's over. No, it's not. Yeah, it's over. And the check swing was the last one of those where immediately you come from down and up. So I think that's kind of the pattern that they're going to win by, is they're going to have to out-hit everybody.
They showed why they're better. They showed why they're better than the 2022 team. They're more complete in that how they worked counts in that ninth inning. 3 2 counts worked.
Right.
And Burke was part of that. The sac fly, Burke's hit more, and Cannon Peebles pinch hitting and drawing a walk when he was showing bunt, and it messed up the pitcher. So this is more than just a home run hitting team. They really go to all fields and really work counts.
And that's what they need to be.
That's what I was going to say. They have been better at small ball than I thought they were going to be with the number of home runs they had hit during the regular season. They've been fantastic at it.
That was going to be a topic I was going to bring up today, and I thought, let's just talk about the victory. But that was, you hit 2 home runs yesterday, or Friday, I keep doing it. 2 home runs Friday, but during the regular season at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, you averaged almost 3 home runs a game. In past trips to Omaha, that's just a much deeper field than what you play here. You go back to the opening at Globe Life Stadium when they opened out at Arlington. Yeah, that's a longer ballpark. They didn't hit as many home runs there. So I thought, is this something that's going to affect it? And instead, they came through with 12 runs on just 2 home runs. That does talk about the small
Watching
ball.
it compare it to a football game, okay, can a team put together a 12-play drive? Yeah, and Tennessee in baseball can do that. But they can also strike fast, too, with the home runs. So that's the way I look at it. And I didn't kind of like you. I didn't know they could put together we're chipping away, chipping away, chipping away.
All right, we got to catch a break. And to be honest with you, I didn't throw anything. It was a checked throw. True, I didn't throw anything. I was angry, though, because technology kills me. Thanks to John Wilkerson again for putting up with what we had to do just to get him via phone. When we come back, let's talk about the game coming up tonight against North Carolina. We'll get a scouting report from Vince. And also, I want to talk about the pitching and defense. Is it good enough? Going back.